Welcome to the Our City Church podcast. Whether it's your first time listening or you're a weekly listener, we hope this message impacts your life, your relationship with God, and your relationship with others.
Good morning. Welcome, Our City Church. I'm so glad you guys are with us today. I get the honor to deliver the message. I'm so glad you guys are here. Today will be a special day for me because I get to share a whole lot of my story. We're in week 2 of our series called Change Your Life. And today, I get to speak on the whole concept and idea of health. Isn't that going to be exciting? There's so much surrounding this concept and this idea. And we're bombarded with this all the time, especially around the new year and what this actually means. And so today, this is what I want to do. I want to share total transparency, honesty. This is the first time at a public setting that I've ever shared my story, probably as raw as I'm going to share my story. And so as I talk about my experience and the things that I went through and navigated for myself and what Tierney and I did and how we figured out what this whole health concept really meant, I challenged a lot of stuff. I experienced a lot of stuff. I had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. I will speak very direct to things because that's how I am. I'm a very direct person. And so my hope would be this, that you don't walk away with anything that I say today saying this is how you do it, this is a one-fit-all. If you don't do what I did, then you're missing it and you're not healthy. Not at all. This is an idea that I want to break down saying this is what I experienced, this worked for me, and here's some principles that I hope that you can take with you and then begin to, my concept that I learned from it is change your relationship with this idea of health. How can we take a step into not just changing and becoming something, but just how do I change my relationship with health? And to kick that off, I experienced something this last week. If any of you know my wife, Tierney, first off, Tierney is an absolute savage in every aspect of life. Okay? She is probably the most driven, dedicated, smart, intelligent, beautiful, wonderful. Everything about her is amazing to me. And so me, how I am, I have to be this big, not because I want to, just so I can stand up for myself. Okay? So she's an amazing, loving, caring woman, but then when she works out, and when we went on our journey of figuring out what this whole health thing is, man, she goes all in, right? And so she just was like, you know what, forget the gym, it doesn't really work for my schedule. I want to get a couple weights and put it at the house so I can work out at the house. This past week it's been raining. So did that stop her? Not at all. She's like, I'm going to grab some of these dumbbells, I'm going to bring it inside. I got super nervous. I was like, don't drop that, blow the floor out. But she's like, I got this, don't worry. I was like, okay, sweet. So I go to the gym early in the morning. I come home, and anytime you have a good moment anywhere, you just kind of like, yeah, I feel good. This is going to be a good day. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm going to have a great day. So I'm coming home, and I'm super chipper, just ready to go, ready to see my kids, get them to school, and we're having a fantastic morning already. So I walk in, and I just forget that Tierney's working out inside. So I walk in, I'm like, what's up, Dad's home? And then Tierney's slaying it. She can't hear me. She's sitting there just with a dumbbell, just oh, what's up, babe? What are you doing? And I'm just like, oh, what's going on in here? Kids are sitting at the table. They're both eating. So then she stops. She pulls her headphone out. She goes, hey, kids are fully ready for school, okay? They both got their teeth brushed, shoes on. They're just eating. When they're done eating, you can take them to school. I was like, this is amazing. This is a perfect day for me, right? I was like, okay, cool. So all I had to do is basically just grab a couple things for what I need for work, grab these kids, and then we can bounce. So then Tierney goes, before she puts her headphone back in and starts doing her lunges and everything else she was doing, she was just like, hey, by the way, I have headphones in. I can't hear anything. Don't talk to me. I was like, shout out to our therapist, Diane, okay? Because that helped us tremendously when it comes to communication, because if she would have had her headphones in, I was trying to talk to her, hey, babe, what do you think we're going to do later today? And she doesn't respond. Hey, babe, what do you think we're going to do today? Right? Get really annoyed real quick. But she's like, hey, FYI, do not talk to me. Raise your hand if you want to say anything because I can't hear anything so that I can actually engage. I was like, okay, cool. I know exactly what that means. So like I said, the house is amazing experience. Vibes through the roof. Everyone's feeling good, right? We're basically in heaven at this point. Tierney's feeling good, looking good, just crushing it. But for some reason, we start interacting. Makai wants another pancake. And she's like, hey, can I get another pancake? Like, yeah, I got you. So I'm grabbing the pancake. I'm taking it to her. And then Tierney's like, this is my opportunity to love my family and care for them. But she's got headphones in. If you ever talk to anyone that's got headphones in, they don't talk that quiet. So now she wants to encourage her daughter to continue eating and then tell her where the syrup is. But how she says it is this. She goes, hey, babe, the syrup is over there in the kitchen. You can get it if you want. And then Micaiah's like, looks around. She goes, why are you yelling at me? But Tierney's being so encouraging. She's being so loving. She's just trying to tell him, but it's coming across so aggressively because she's got these headphones in. And I'm in the kitchen. I was like, why is she yelling? What's happening right now? And then sure enough, like that stopped and then something else happened and I was about to grab something and she can tell I was looking for something. She goes, oh, it's over there in the corner. You just have to go over there and look at it. And I looked at her again. I was like, why are you talking to us and yelling? I was like, enjoy your workout. This is awesome. But she was like wanting to be engaged. She wanted to like connect. And she was so unaware of what the thing happened. And my daughter's perfect response of like what is happening? And then the last situation, we go to get in the car, and sure enough, like if you ever buckled a small child, all the parents in the room know this, like they sit in their seat, and you basically have to invade their personal space, put the seatbelt in, and she still has her headphones in, and she's like face to face with Micaiah, says, I love you so much, I hope you have a great day. And Micaiah's like, why are you yelling at me? Oh, so funny. And I was like, what an awesome moment. You're being a great mom. Like, you're an amazing person. I was like, you're like shouting these beautiful words to us. I was like, our hearts should be full, but there's this like moment to where Micaiah wasn't frustrated. She was just confused, didn't know what was going on. And it's this situation where it's just like, it's this blind spot. It's a simple unawareness, right? Where you don't know what's going on. You're just kind of like doing the thing that you want to do, and you're just unaware of what's actually happening. She had no idea the volume that she was actually like portraying her voice in. And that's such a silly and hilarious example. But in life, there's so many times we can actually create blind spots for ourselves. There's so much with these concepts, especially the ones that we hear the most. Stuff when we talk about money, when we talk about health, when we talk about just basic necessities of life, there's these things that we can begin to create blind spots. And this is how it all starts. Blind spots in our lives, we can always tell that someone has one, but we can never actually identify our own. That's literally why it's called a blind spot, right? You have no idea. So it's like, I don't know what my blind spot is. I need actually someone to help me figure out what my blind spot is. And it always happens with this small tweak to a narrative. You begin to tell yourself, this is just how life is. It will never change. I got to accept it. Whatever. Like, this is who I am. It's these small little narratives we begin to tell ourselves. And that's okay if you do it for a day. It's okay if you do it for a week. It's okay if you do it for a month. But what happens when a month turns into months? What happened when months turns into a year, and then a year turns into years? Well, you find yourself as down this road, you begin to have this concept in life that you think you know about, but you started living slightly different than what that is, and then you find yourself in a completely different blind spot, experiencing life like you never thought you would experience before. And then when it comes to this concept of health, you're like, man, how did I get so unhealthy? For me, it was 2017 when we started our journey, me and Tierney. I'm like, what does it really mean to be healthy? There's so many things that I looked at and there's so many things that I heard that I actually just did not believe. I was like, what do you mean you can't out-train a bad diet? Watch me. Like, you don't know how hard I go at the gym. Like, of course I can out-train a bad diet. No, you can't. You really can't actually do that. Because I went to the gym on a consistent basis, and I ate literally whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, however I wanted, and I got really fat at one point in my life. And I was like, oh no, how'd this happen? And then I told Tierney, like it was a surprise to her, I said, hey babe, obesity for men is 30% body fat. I was at 32% body fat, so I was technically obese. And I was walking around and I was like, oh no, this is a bad situation. And I was like, hey, don't tell anyone, but I got fat. And she was like, your secret's safe with me? Like, well, do you not interact with people? Like, what are we talking about? And I was like, yeah, and I was like, but it was my blind spot. I was so unaware of what happened. And I remember 2017 sitting down, considering my life, and I was like, I don't like how I'm living. I don't enjoy this. I want to change what this is, and I need to figure it out. And the first time in my life, I had to sit down and come to the realization of, I don't know how to do this. I've gotten so far down this road, I don't even know where to begin. And there's these situations that we can find ourselves in that can get so daunting, so overwhelming, to where it's like, I can't even imagine what life would look like different than what it currently is. And I kind of want to talk to that. I want to talk about that today, of how do you imagine a more active lifestyle? Can you actually imagine like joy where there's a lot of pain? How do you imagine like the marriage that can feel connected when it felt so disconnected for so long? How can you imagine having an interaction with your kids when it feels like you guys never really talk or you really never connect? How do we imagine love where there's disconnect? How do we imagine this life that we would once want to live and have passions and dreams for when it seems like we're so far from the other side of that? How do we get ourselves into a position where we just start the journey? And if you guys are anything like me, then you spend years and you spend months and you spend so much time being like, I can't even start figuring that out, because that idea in itself, I feel so behind that I will just busy myself with anything else and do literally anything else. And I'll just put my health process, my relationship with health, I'll put it on the shelf, I'll pause it, and then I'll just try to figure this stuff out. I'll blame it on work, I'll blame it on the kid's schedule, I'll blame it on the marital issues, I'll blame it on whatever else is going on. I just don't have enough time to figure this out. So therefore, I'll continue eating the same, I'll continue living the same, I'll continue doing the same thing, I'll continue feeling the same way, I'll continue thinking the same way. There's this process of health that doesn't just actually have this physical aspect. It's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's everything that we experience our life with. Some of us are walking around with such a dark cloud over our head on a daily basis, and we have no idea what life would look like if we didn't have this cloud over us. Some of us have such a weight in our emotion, and when we talk about what would it look like to be free and light throughout your day, that healthy emotional process is daunting. It's not like any of us want to have the crux and the issues and the burdens of life, but yet we carry them. So today, how do we change the relationship that we have with our mental, our emotional, our physical health? How do we look at the stuff that's daunting to us, identify where we're at, and begin to move forward so that we can find ourselves with new perspectives? In the Bible, there's a story I want to read, and there's this journey that he's been on, and a life that he's been experiencing. And I want us to begin to open up a brand new concept of what it would be like to actually pursue this faith, this journey, this idea of health. And if you have your Bibles, you can open up to Mark 10. Everyone, for me, say there and then. What's going on there and then in the Bible, before we get into the context of what we're about to read in this story, is that Jesus is traveling around. There's a whole lot of buzz that's getting created with what he's doing. He just healed a man that was possessed. He's been talking about his death that's going to approach soon. So he's kind of given an awareness to his disciples and to the people that are around him, saying, hey, I'm not going to be here forever. Something's going to happen and my life's going to change and I'm going to actually die. And people are just like, wait, what are you talking about? We thought we were going to do this forever. We thought we were going to overtake Rome and all the above. And also while you're saying that, there's miracles that are taking place. Like you're healing this possessed boy. You're feeding thousands of people. There's a lot of healings. There's a lot of miracles. There's a lot that's actually taking place in this time. And in the midst of that too, he's teaching rabbis and Pharisees. So not only is miracles being performed, not only is he now just going to declare what the future is going to look like, but he's now breaking down like, hey, I'm going to now take the teachers of the day, the rulers, the governors of the day, and I'm going to break down and I'm going to inform them and teach them, and they're going to become the students. There's a lot of profound things that are happening because the Pharisees back in the day would just create hundreds of laws and like force people and be like, hey, you have to live by this weight of the world. You have to live by the concepts of what all these things are. And it's perfect for us to understand how the Pharisees did this culturally speaking, because that's exactly what we see when you sit there and scroll through Instagram or go on a Google search and how to get healthy. You're going to get 1,000 different things of what you could possibly do to live a healthy lifestyle. You need to do a keto diet. No, don't do that. You actually have to carb cycle. No, don't do that. Do paleo. No, don't do that. Go no meat. Actually, you should only do meat. There's just so many different concepts on what to do. When you look at it all, you're like, which one's the right one? How am I going to know? And once again, if you're like me, I don't want to spend time, effort, and energy for the next 3 to 6 months figuring it out and then at the end of it be like, wow, that was a lot of hard work that did nothing for me. So the Pharisees are creating hundreds of laws that people would have to follow. And our world has created hundreds of ways to get healthy. And both are extremely hard to understand, hard to live, hard to embrace, hard to actually implement into your life for the basics of, I just want to live the life that Jesus has given me to live, which is free, full of peace, and full of joy. So Jesus shows up to teach on all these ideas. He's going through a city called Jericho. Okay, there's a crowd that's following him. He's got his disciples that are with him, and he's about to interact with the blind man named Bartimaeus. Okay, we pick up in verse 47, and he says this. When he heard that, Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. I love the way this starts. I love that he's shouting. I love that he's excited. Have you ever gone to a party and like that one cousin, the auntie, the uncle, the friend, someone shows up and that one person's like, oh yeah, it's about to go down, right? It's that excitement where you're like, this party's cool, but now that so-and-so just showed up, we're gonna have a good time. Right? So it's like, you get that inside of you where like, oh, tonight's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited for what this is. This is that situation. Let's not get overly religious with what it is. It's like the guy showing up, he heard Jesus is coming, and he gets absolutely excited. And then check out his response to what he says, or the people that talk about him around him. They say this, after he's shouting, on verse 48, many rebuked him and told him to be quiet. Oh, that's so true of crowds that are around us. When we get excited about things, there's so many people, and there's things that we've experienced where they sit there and just, hey, be quiet. You're just a beggar. Shut up, man. Jesus has so many other things to do. Why are you talking? Just sit there, stay in your lane. Don't worry. He's not here for you. He's doing all these things. Do you understand who this is? This is Jesus, okay? You said his name of Nazareth, yeah, son of David. You understand his lineage. You understand what's going on. He's a big deal. Why would he talk to you? And sometimes we share our ideas, we share our dreams, we share our passions, we share the goals and ambitions that we have for ourselves, and we can begin to talk about them with excitement, and we can share them around people, and they can just be like, nah, you'll never. Oh, you're just going to become one of those people now? Or do you think you're better? And we can start getting negative feedback, and there's these hurdles that we begin to hit. There's these things you're like, there's no chance you can do that. You've tried that before. What makes you think you'll do it again? I don't know if any of us have noticed, but this whole idea of New Year's resolutions have kind of faded away. And my thought that says why it's faded away is because I think that we've just been so negative on people not accomplishing New Year's resolutions that we kind of feel dumb to bring it up again. We've kind of stopped as a society saying, I want a better 2023 than I did last year. And the world's going to look at us and be like, you'll be done by January 21st. Good luck failing. Why even try? Right? And we've just kind of stopped. And to sit up here and be like, I got a New Year's resolution message for you. You'd be like, oh my God, why'd I show up? Like, not this again. But no, it's like, how do we dream again for ourselves? How do we begin to say, man, I want to actually have some change in myself? But at some point in our life, we started listening to the crowd. My daughter just went through TK. Now she's in kindergarten. And it blows my mind that she's 6 years old. And before she got into the public school system, on how free and excited she was about life. Now she walks around and talks about embarrassment way more than she used to. Just this idea of, Dad, don't do that. You're embarrassing me. I'm going to embarrass you, okay? It's going to happen. Dude, she got a reward for reading, and I think that award is just like, she just read. Like, I think that they just give out great accomplishments, which I think is great for the self-esteem of a child. If I'm going to show up to a small child's, like, award system, like, ceremony, I'm going to scream for all of them. You're amazing. I love all of you, and I only know one. What's up? Let's go. And if you're a parent around me and you cheer for your kid, that kid's getting cheered for by me as well. That's right, Luke. I see you as well. Stud, absolute unit, Luke. Right? Like, I'm gonna celebrate. And my daughter, dude, she used to be like so happy. My God, my dad. Right? Losing it. Now it's just like a little bit more like, what the heck is this guy doing? Knock it off. right? And I could feel from her, you're embarrassing me. And I had to sit down and I had to look at her and be like, look, I'm never trying to embarrass you. I will always celebrate you. I will always celebrate you. Don't be so concerned about what people are thinking. But even at the age of 6, we begin to teach ourselves what the crowd thinks and how that can shape our mind. How much more do we care about what people think? And we pretend and we act like, I don't care what anyone thinks. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. But here, check out how his response is. His response is amazing to me. He says this, and he picks up and continues in verse 48. But he shouted all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. You might have stopped me last year. You might have stopped me last week. You might have done something where I wouldn't actually say anymore, but I'm done. I want change. I want to experience something different. You can tell me to shut up, but I'm not going to experience my life through your approval anymore. I want my own experience. I want my own life. And whatever you think I'm going to be, I can't care about that. I have to have an experience with Jesus. I have to, if this man is really who he says he is, or who everyone says he is, maybe he can give me the very thing that I need in my life. Maybe the passion, the dream, the goal, maybe whatever it is that we're experiencing, maybe there's something that we can grab a hold of and say, man, I'm tired of living like this. Like, the crazy thing about my life that I've gotten to this point is when I weighed in at 2017, I weigh exactly the same as I do now. Okay? There's not a big difference in my weight. Like, that is the same, but my lifestyle, drastically different. The way I feel, drastically different. The way I interact with my kids, drastically different. And there's so much that I hear on a regular basis on how I live and how I'm some kind of guy and how I fit a certain mold. And I'm just like, man, that can actually really deter me from doing the things that I just actually enjoy. Some of us should never go to a gym, ever. You hate it. You hate lifting weights. It's stupid. Yeah, screw the gym. It's dumb. Some of us should stretch and do yoga, and some of us should never. Some of us should go on really long runs and love it and be outside. Some of us should hike. Some of us should just meditate. Some of us should just do any of the activities and play sports. Some of us should get out there and just be active and get our body moving and doing things that we really enjoy. And some of us should absolutely be in the gym because we enjoy it. There's a healthy process for every single one of us for us to begin to live a full life that Jesus has created for us so that we can move our body, we can experience more life, and we can walk around and say, man, whatever dream I may have in my life, can my body allow me to do that? It's my body right now. If I wanted to go hike a mountain, can I tomorrow say, yes, I can do that? Just because I want to. And if I'm not able to do that, then how can I live a life that will allow me to experience the things that I want to do in my life? So this man has got these dreams, he's got these ambitions, and he's shouting for Jesus, and he's like, give me, Jesus, what do you have for me? Can you give me something that I'm looking for? And then now they continue, Jesus actually calls for him and says, hey, have that man come over here, I want to talk to him. And so they sent out for him, and then we pick up in verse 51, and Jesus asks him this remarkable question. He asks him this, what do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked, hey, what do you want me to do for you? I love this question because this is the best question that any type of coach or any like mentor or anything in someone's life can actually ask someone. You never show up when it comes to a physical realm of like going to the gym, and a coach should never tell you, this is what your goals are. Okay, this is what you should do. No, they always ask you, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? What are we talking about? Because I can create a plan for you on the specifics of whatever you want to do, but the plan, if you want to get bigger, will be vastly different if you want to get smaller. The guy that wants to run 100 miles in one day is going to do a completely different lifestyle than the guy that wants to pick up a truck. Right? Strongman, competition, and marathon runners live completely separate lives, different lives. There's no way that their daily lifestyle looks the same. Okay, so it's like you got to sit down with someone and they got to ask you the question, what do you want? And what's beautiful about this is it forces you to reflect and to identify what you want. It forces us to sit there and be like, what's most important to me? What do I really want in this? Am I really pursuing this health? Do I feel the pressure that I should look a certain way because of what the public appearance is? Do I have to have an aesthetic goal because that's how it should be? Or am I just really like concerned about my actual overall health, or because I know that for a fact if I wanted to go do something, I wouldn't be able to do that? Like, what's the driving factor that we have for ourselves? Our emotional state. Man, do I want to get emotionally healthy because it'll make the people around me a little bit more like better, or they'll feel better about me? Or do I just really not like that I overreact to things, that I can't control my emotions? Do I really not like that I get overly angry over small things that really shouldn't bother me, but I just have this crazy response to it? Do I not like, I just don't like to have this swirling thought, and it's just such a task to get out of bed and to do anything in my life because I have these thoughts in my head. It's like, what's the real goal? Is it that you're a nuisance to the people around you, or is it that Jesus has given us an opportunity for us to live better? This man looks at Jesus, has a response, and he says this. As he considers, he says, the blind man said, "Rabbi, I want to see." I want to see. I've been blind. I'm blind. I have no idea what the wonder of this world looks like. He sits there. This story is amazing because it starts with Jesus is showing up. He gets excited. Jesus, hey, have mercy on me. Please help me. There's something that I really want in my life. I want change. Can you do anything about it? People look at him. Shut up. You're just a beggar. Why are you talking? He's not here for you. He's here for other people. He's got bigger and better things to do. Be quiet. It doesn't matter. No. I'm not going to be quiet. Jesus, please help me. I actually want some real change this year. I want real change in my marriage. I want real change in my health. I want real change in my life, mentally, emotionally, physically. I need something different to be in my life so I can live differently. Jesus is like, wow, there's something in him that's real. Bring him over here. I want to talk to him. What do you want? I want the miracle. I want to see. Can you help me see? Can you help me so I don't have to sit down and just beg and be complacent and be stuck? And there's areas in our life that we've become blind to. There's areas where we have no idea we're stuck. We can feel it. We mentally have struggles. We are aware of it when we get around other people doing it, and it does something in our heart. It goes, I want that. Oh, I wish I could do that. Something so silly that some of us deal with. There's simple tasks that the emotions can cripple us. Tierney and I have been, like I said, on this huge journey, and there's been some anxiety that has processed with her, and she's just like, man, I really want to go on bike rides and have so much fun, but riding the bike on the street gives her a lot of anxiety and stresses her out. So rather than me just being like, deal with it, we're riding on the street and you're going to handle it, and that's how we overcome it, right? It'd be such a crazy concept to her, and it would be so rude and so like uncaring for me to like do that. So you know what I did? I looked up some trails that had nothing to do with anywhere close to the roads. Hey, I found a bike path, no traffic anywhere. Let's just go ride bikes. We went on a bike ride. I looked over. She's just, I don't know why she's bobbling her head, but she was. Helmet was too big. Just so happy, right? And it was something so simple. It took me like 3 minutes to look up a path that was going to put us in no traffic and in no danger and none of that stuff. And to me, I ride bikes all over the place, and it doesn't bother me. But that's not my issue. That's not my tension. That's not my insecurity. That's not my angst. We all have something that we're walking around with. There's something to where not everybody's physically blind. How crazy this story would be if he can fully see. He'd be like, I want to see. Jesus would be like, you got it. That was easy. No miracle needed. You can see, right? Our issue and our tension, and when we need to change the relationship with our health and our journey, physically, emotionally, mentally. Some of us, it's not physical, it's emotional. Some of us, it's not mental, it's physical. Some of us, it's all of it. Whatever the struggle and the process may be, we have to identify where we're at and just be able to say, God, can you help me with this? Not everyone struggles with this, but I do. I have to be honest about what I'm dealing with. I have to be honest with where I am. I had to get honest that I was living a life that when I had a daughter, that there was no chance I can play with her for 20 minutes without being completely exhausted. And I hated that. I would walk up a flight of stairs, and I was so tired. And I had to sit there. I remember one time, the church we were at had these stairs, and I was like, dude, these things are a nightmare. And I was like, I hate going up them. Because every time I go up them, my trick was to walk up them with somebody. And what I would do is I'd ask them a question, so they would talk the whole time, and then I would try to silently breathe like my life away as I got up there. Right? But I remember when I was by myself, I would get up to the top of the stairs, and I would grab the railing, and I would just remember this like I was there yesterday, and I would lean over on it, and I'd put my forehead on my arms, and I thought to myself, I can't believe I can't walk upstairs. And it was sad to me. And I didn't care. At that point, I didn't care that I was 30% body fat. I didn't care about that. That's not what mattered to me. I didn't care that I weighed X amount of pounds. I didn't care about that. What I cared was I was walking around and I had a physical body that wouldn't allow me to do things that I wanted to do, and I couldn't be active. Then I started telling my daughter, Daddy's tired. We'll do it later. Well, maybe another time. Or I started creating games that caused me no activity. Come on, that's honest. Where you sit down and you lean against the couch, you just roll a ball to him. Tyson's learned how to catch, right? Like, so it's like you have to throw a perfect toss. Here's a secret sauce. If you're teaching a kid how to catch, just throw it at their body. Don't throw it at their hands. Because as soon as it hits them, they just do this. And they got a good chance of catching. So as soon as it hits them, they just like react to it. But how much activity do you have to do? You don't have to do much. You can just sit there and just be like, just throw a ball to them. And there's these games that I start creating where that's a good one, but there's other ones where I was just like, my daughter doesn't want to roll a ball back and forth with me. She wants to go on a bike ride. She wants to go out and do stuff. She wants to go be active. She wants to go to the park. And there wasn't a lot of park experiences because I knew that I would have to go out and do something, and I felt like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like the way that feels. I don't want to go out there and do that. And so I started creating blind spots to myself so that I would stay where I'm at. And I finally had to sit down in 2017, started 2018. I said, enough's enough. Whatever I have to do to fix this, I'll fix this. And my why before, every time I got into a gym and every time I ever wanted to work out, starting at 2012 all the way to 2017, was aesthetics driven. I only wanted to look a certain way. Like, yeah, dude, get jacked, be strong. Look at me, right? But it never sustained. I actually don't care about that, like at all. Like there's these programs you can do that are like supposed to help shape your body and form your body, and I don't do any of them. I hate them. Like all the accessory work that I'm supposed to be doing is like this stuff that's like supposed to make me look better. I'm just, God, it's boring. I hate that. Let's do this stuff over here because it's fun. And I enjoy this stuff over here. I enjoy because I know I'm like, this is actually creating like an aerobic capacity so I can go hiking and I can go play with my kids. My why was I want to look amazing. And that never worked for me because I really don't care about that. And it shifted to I looked at my daughter and said, I want to play with you for an hour. One straight hour. Whatever your crazy kid activity you want to do, I want to do it with you and I want to laugh my head off and not be exhausted. So I started researching, figuring out what do I have to do daily so I can begin to look at my daughter and play with her and not tell her dad's too tired. There are so many hurdles that I experienced in doing that. There are so many moments that I experienced where motivation was not even close to being a factor. People ask all the time, how do you stay motivated? I don't. I'm disciplined. Never. Motivation is really, really fun in the beginning when it's a great idea and you're inspired to do something. As soon as you experience your first hurdle, motivation goes out the window, and then it's all about discipline. Like as soon as you start doing something, you're going to get the experience mentally, physically, emotionally. You're going to have the thing that's going to tell you, stop. This is too hard. There's a reason why you're not doing this on a regular basis. It's not easy. And motivation, whoosh, out the window. Now you're stuck with, do I continue doing it or not? I can't, most of the time I move, and most of the time I say yes to something, I don't want to do it in the beginning. My emotion isn't like, yeah, I look forward to this. I'm not wired that way. Tierney blows my mind. She works out by herself at the house. I can't do that. Okay, I'm not driven that way. Like I got to get in a room, loud music, a lot of people. Hey, what's up, man? Like relationship drives me, and I show up, I interact with people, and then we just happen to be doing something. So like I enjoy that process of that really helps me, but I had to identify that for myself. And once I found that, I said, oh, this works for me. This doesn't work for everybody. Some people love to put the headphones in and go do their thing and then go on a run, go on a walk. If I would go running, I really had to be training for something because I hate running and I don't enjoy it. It doesn't help me. Apparently, I just learned that there is an actual way to run and I don't know how to run. It sounds silly to say that. Just running. So I went to, real fast, this is a total side note, I went to go to lunch with Pastor Jesse and Bridget, and we're making jokes. It was raining, and they're like, hey, it's right down the street. I was like, oh, I'll just go over there. I'll just walk. I don't feel like driving. And they're like, you better run because it's going to be 7 minutes. You're going to be soaking wet. I said, could you imagine my big self just sprinting down the street? If you're driving, I was just like, just big old body. That idea made me laugh, so I just thought this. But I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. I'd rather do anything else than do that. That's why I walk up hills. Like hiking, that's all that is, walking up a hill. It's like, I'm not going to run this thing. It is what it is. But there's a process for all of us. There's a process that we can sit there and we can identify, man, am I living as full as I possibly can live? This freedom that Jesus talks about, died on the cross, resurrection, so that we can have life to the fullest. Am I living a full life? The thing that really matters to me, that may not matter to anyone around me, am I actually experiencing that? Am I actually experiencing the things that I want to in my life? Am I accomplishing that? Nobody cares if I did this hike. Nobody cares. I didn't do it for anyone else. I did it for myself. Nobody cares that I'm running. Nobody cares. I do it for myself. Nobody cares that I tell myself the positive things, but I care. I care. So for us, how do you take this home? There's a couple practical things that I want to help you with. Real simple. Don't start with something large, just really easy things. There's 3 areas I just want to talk about, like mentally. If you're looking for mental health, then there's this real simple thing that you can do. Wait, before I forget any of this stuff, it's all right here. I'm trying to do it off the top of my head for some reason. Mental health, always make your bed. Really simple. I'm going to give you really practical things, and it sounds really silly, but I promise you when you start this journey, it's not about doing something in a day, it's about doing something daily. Okay? If that dark cloud is over you, like what we think we need to do is accomplish something big to get the bigness away. It's not how it works. It's a little by little. Okay? Wake up, you will feel so much better about yourself if you made your bed every single day. Get outside every day. Breathe in fresh air. Let the sun hit you. The sun is so fantastic for you and you're experiencing for your mental health. Take a walk, get outside, breathe, feel the air every single day, and then practicing breathing. Okay, there's a concept that I found that it says 4, 7, 8. Take 4 seconds breath in, hold it for 7, and then exhale for 8. What that literally does is it resets your brain. So if you're having anxiety, you're overwhelmed, there's a lot going on, and you feel like you're going to have a mental breakdown, there's something that's like creeping up on you, take a minute, push away from the desk, from the computer, get away from the situation in the house, find yourself sitting there and just sit there. 4 seconds in, 7-second hold, 8 seconds out. It will reset your brain. Do that a couple times, and then re-engage into whatever activity you're doing. It will help you make better, sound decisions. Simple things, whatever that does. These are just points that get you started in doing something. If you need to change your relationship with emotional health, this is such a big concept that we can talk for a whole hour about, but I'm not going to, is your emotions are data, not directions. Your emotions is just information, and there are no negative emotions. Okay? It's not to tell you, I'm angry, so therefore this is what's happening. This is what I need to do with it. No. This situation's causing anger right now. So what am I really angry about? Let me now identify the emotion of what this thing is. I need to now get familiar and comfortable with what I feel. Rather than, I feel this, so I must do this. No. Don't take the directions of your emotions. Take the directions from your wisdom and good sound logic, not from what you feel. Because if I took my directions from what I feel, I would be as inconsistent as I was in 2017. My consistency isn't based off of my feeling. My consistency is based off of my principles. So your emotions should align with your principles, not your principles align with your emotions. You will live a completely erratic life all over the place. Secondly, create boundaries. Boundaries are super healthy. Yes, no. And when it's no, don't say yes to it. No, we're not doing that. Have boundaries for your kids, have boundaries for yourself, have boundaries with your spouse, have boundaries to where like, this doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, you can't talk to me like that. It doesn't work for my emotional state, okay? Those words are hurtful. That actually affects me. I don't like that. Can we go down a different road, okay? We need boundaries. Put yourself around emotionally healthy people. This is why life groups is so crucial, okay? Doing this life by yourself is super difficult. When you get around other people that are trying to do the same thing, rowing in the same direction, you have a chance to actually create some momentum for you. If you need help with changing your physical health, here's 3 really simple things. Don't overcomplicate it. Drink water before you do caffeine. Right when you wake up, I'm not the person to follow doing this. This is something I tell myself. I will crush a cup of coffee. I used to function in the morning before 8 a.m. I would have already had 1,200 milligrams of caffeine in my body. Do you understand how bad that is for you? Okay, here's another one. I would do that at the pinnacle of what I look like. That's why this idea of health isn't about your aesthetics. Because if anyone looked at me at that point in my life, they'd be like, oh, he's healthy. Oh, no, I wasn't. I was not. I looked a certain way. I was not healthy. And the reason why I was drinking so much caffeine is so I could look a certain way, so I can appease this crowd of people that I actually didn't really care about. Start with water before you do caffeine. Second thing is this: take steps, not leaps. Back in 2017, if I would have implemented the same regimen volume training that I'm doing now, I don't even know if I would survive it. You ever worked out so hard or do something with your buddy? Hey, come to the gym with me. It'll be really fun. Oh yeah, fun? Haven't exercised in years. You want me to come train with you? You've been doing this for like the last 10 years straight, and you train for like 2 hours a day. Like, you want me to hang out with you? And then you try it and you can't walk for a week? Like, delete my number. Stop talking to me immediately. Right? It's like, hey, look, start with steps. Okay? It's not about you crushing it for one day. It's about you crushing it for an entire year, every day. Pick something that's doable. Move your body. Get active. Don't sit there and just try to accomplish the world in one day. Last thing is this: get good sleep. Dude, we high-step sleep all the time, thinking that we can just do a bunch of other stuff. The quality of sleep will help your body recover and help your mental state, help your emotional state, and it'll help you physically live the life that you want to live. Those are really simple things that get the ball moving and get you thinking on what you can actually accomplish when it comes to changing your relationship with health. How do we do that here as a church? We do it like this. In verse 52, we do the same thing that Bartimaeus did. He did this. Go, said Jesus, your faith has healed you. Immediately received his sight, and he followed Jesus along the road. It is extremely easy to get caught up in the miracle of this story. And I do believe with all my heart that in a moment, in services like this, that your life can be changed. But I believe lifestyle is changed when you daily make decisions. You can have a moment, and that can actually provoke so much insight and so much ambition and so much passion for you to then do something different in your own life. But you won't see an actual life change physically, mentally, or emotionally until you start implementing that daily. Go to the gym for a week, that's great. Go to the gym every week for a year, you'll find physical change. Tell yourself something positive in yourself and your self-talk in your head for a day, that's great. But if you do it every single day for a year, you'll change your mental state. Emotionally, like embracing the feelings and embracing and identifying your emotions and be able to find healthy outlets for them, do that for a day, that's great. Do it for a year, you'll change your emotional health. It's not about just a moment. It's about getting your moment and then choosing to follow. So my hope for you today is that we have signups next week for groups. If you're not in a group, get into a group. Whatever the journey is, whatever you need to do, we want to do this as a community and as a group. And it's why we ask you guys to fill out connection cards on a regular basis. We can never celebrate, we can never champion, we can never truly walk alongside, we can never actually give advice and kind of support anything we can if we don't know what's going on in your life. So if any of you, at any given point in this week or in this moment, that you're just like, man, I don't even know where to start physically. I don't know where to start mentally. I don't know where to start emotionally. Those are great, but like I've tried that before, or I've never tried that. I will try that. Will you fill out a connection card and just let us know, like, this is what my I want to see moment is. This is what my next step is. This is what I want to see. I want to see me change my relationship with this idea of health. I want to see what I will look like in 2024 if I begin to start doing something brand new today. What is it that I can implement that I can just see my physical being shift and change? I can start living the life that I want to mentally and emotionally. How do I take these things so I can now no longer repeat what was in the past? And I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm just going to do it for myself. And if you're new to the faith, we have baptisms next week. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. And maybe your next step is as simple as, man, I just want to actually just continue down this road of spirituality and what God has for me. I just want to open up my heart and say, you know what, I don't even know what this all is. I still have my questions, but man, I would love to get baptized. I would love to learn more about that. Fill out the connection card and write that in. I want to know more about baptisms, and we would love to get you all the information that you need. My hope, our city church, is that there's a group of people in this city, Corona, that just says, because of Jesus, I get to live my best life. 2023, I'm going to live the most full, the most free, and I will not have any limitations because Christ has given us an opportunity for us to live full. So wherever you need to start, may we start that today. As I pray that you will then have a self-reflection and get honest with yourself and get honest with God and just be like, man, where do I need to start? What's my starting point? What do I need to really begin to focus on that's really become a blind spot to me? God, will you open my eyes to my own blind spot? Will you open my eyes to the things that I need to see? May you turn my weaknesses into strength this next year. I will be obedient. I will be disciplined. I will begin to walk this thing out, but I just need you to help me start because it's so daunting. I don't even know where to begin. And any support that you need from our pastoral staff, we will be here. We will talk through whatever we need to talk through. We will set you up with resources, whether it's counselors, whether it's therapists, whatever it may be, whether it's physical plans, anything that we've experienced that we can help, support, and resource, we will do that for you. But today we get to take the step in saying, where am I? I get to reflect and find out what my next step is. Will you pray for me? Oh, no. Will you pray with me as I pray for you? God, that's our prayer right now. I pray for every person that's in this room, that wherever they're at in the journey, that anything that was talked about today that might have sparked an inspiration or motivation, I pray in the moment of motivation, I pray that you will press on their heart such a passion, such a drive, such a motivation for them to be like, I'm not going to ride the emotion of what I feel right now in 3 weeks from now. So God, will you mark my heart? Will you open my eyes to a brand new way of seeing this life so that when my eyes are open, I can follow you daily. I can follow the pursuit of health daily, the pursuit of me living the physical life that I want to live, for me having the mental clarity that I want to have, for me to have the emotional weight lifted off of me daily. Whatever we need to change in our relationship with this idea of health, and that it's just deemed as you need to eat better, you need to look better. God, I pray all of that will go to the wayside and go away, and I just pray that the new full concept of true health, true freedom that you have given us through the cross and through your love and through your goodness, that we will accept that gift and we will begin to implement and live out what you have for us. I pray this room, this group of people, this church will be such a beacon of light to this entire city that they'll walk around and be like, there's something about that community that lives full. There's not this negative spirit. There's not this settling. There's this ambition. There's this passion. There's this spirit of life that lives in it that just says, man, I just want to explore the world. I want to explore all of the passions that I have, the dreams that I have, and I'm going to go for it. And I pray we will celebrate one another. I pray we will encourage one another. I'll pray we will have the tone that says you can do it, that we won't have the same tone of the crowd saying, no, shut up, what are you talking about? You'll never accomplish it. You always fail. You'll never do that thing. But may we take our posture from you and just say, God, let's just encourage one another. Let's just speak life over each other. Let's just walk around saying, you can do it. Even when we fail, even when we make the mistake, even when it doesn't happen, stand up. You can do it again. Try again. Try again. Try again. So we can truly live the way that you've designed us to live. I pray over every person will be encouraged today. I pray there will be a principle that just marks the heart and saying, this is where you can start. And I pray, God, in a year from now, we'll look back and be like, man, January 15, 2023 is when I started my journey of me changing my relationship with the idea of health. And I stopped buying into the concept of what the world told us, but I looked at Jesus, what you gave me an option to have, and I just choose that today. I pray that in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Our City Church, I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything. Next week, week 3 of Change Your Life. Pastor Chris will be here. Can't wait to see you guys. You guys have a great week. Let's change the world together.
Thanks for joining us. If you would like to help us impact more people around the world, we would love your support. You can give through the app or online at ourcity.church. And be sure to select the Our City Online tab, which helps us know you're listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, you can subscribe, share it with your friends, click the share button, or take a screenshot and share it on your social media and tag us at ourcity.church. Thanks again for listening. God bless.